You know, you know, you know what? Like, can that be like the 6th or 7th Max Angel movie? Max Angel goes to Thailand.
Yes.
The case of the uncles.
Oh my god, Max Angel against the Uncle Mafia. I love it.
Get on it, animators. And speaking of getting up, getting on it, jumping all around it, we are here on Nightshade, otherwise known as Belladonna LE. LE, of course, standing for lactose. Ilmactose, am I right? In the top left-hand corner map, spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map, it is going to be a blue Terran. Arguably the top Terran player in the entire ANZ/C region. He is the man who escaped from Tarkov. He is the Mind Freak himself, or representing Mind Freak SC all the way from the land of Australia. We have Seither.
Monka S.
Oh,
and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Nightshade LE, we have the Indian Zerg player representing Downfall Gaming. It is Demi. You know what's interesting? So every single game, Demi versus Hut, Demi went for a pool first. He went for hatch.
Oh.
He went for hatch gas pool this game. He's like, I don't know what that says about Hut. How cheesy Hut can be.
I think that says more about Demi.
Maybe.
I think that's more of Demi being like, I didn't play Hut last week, so I don't know how good he is, so I'm just gonna take him a bit more seriously. Now, he's like, oh yeah, Sheldon, he's still in Tarkov.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna send him back to Tarkov.
You know what? If Sheldon proxies me, I don't need to pull first. I'll be fine.
Exactly.
That's exactly what he's saying. Wow. What a guy.
What a dude. That's a little bit of a Zodling micro coming up from Demi. Ooh,
yeah.
That is easier. That's something that when you look at it, it looks pretty easy, but not so much when you're actually playing it.
That looked sexy. Not gonna lie.
It was very sexy.
The way he moved his lings, oof, that was beautiful to see.
Those lings moves, man. Almost as seductive as True's Queens.
Almost. But yeah. Something interesting and that Demi and Seither were actually talking about was I kind of agree with Demi in that I would favor Demi more against Probe than I would against Seither.
Yeah, Demi more would be pretty good against Probe.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we also say that because we did cast the show match between Demi and Probe, and that will always stick in my mind, that dominant performance. But even after that, you know, there was that finals 2 weeks ago now, Miyamika versus Seither, where Miyamika took down Probe, and then in a ZVT, Seither just dominated Miyamika. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, it was scary, to be honest. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. As Demi, he is a very different Zerg player from Miyamika. I don't think we're going to be seeing Ling Hydra. I hope not, at least. But we'll see.
Yeah, for now it's just going to be Ling Bane coming up from Demi. And
as we do see Demi with Overlord speed, he does dive into the main base of Seither, and he spots the opener. He sees the 1-1-1. He sees the third CC as well. Should be feeling fine. Knows exactly what he's up against.
That he does, and the unfortunate part for Seither, he does not have that that confirmation But seeing as where Demi's third hatchery has gone,
Hmm.
I think we might be into something that Quirky would be very excited for. It's definitely a possibility coming out here.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we do have a lair on the way, which is a little bit interesting. We'll see what that lair is for.
Wing speed.
Again, it could be for Bane speed. Demi is also known for his Spire. Yeah, he's known for his Spire play as well, so we could be seeing that depending on how many gases he takes. But we'll see as he is situating himself nicely defensively. He's throwing down spores at all his bases. He did spot the Banshee opener, or the tech lab researching, so he should be fine for now. But we'll see if these Hellions do any damage. We saw against Hut, Hellions can deal quite a lot of drone damage.
But unlike in the game versus Hut, I don't see a Liberator. I do see Banshees. Or they're not quite as good as at forcing workers out of mineral line like Liberators are. Hellions are starting to go in. Shaves off quite a bit of the link count. And yes, he keeps most of them alive. He's just rotating around, trying to find an opening.
Yeah, I love it. The dance against the queens, basically trying to maneuver around them, trying to find an opening. But Demi on top of his queens, and there we go. He did take his gases. We do have Spire on the way for Demi, going for his signature style.
There's that Spire.
Ooh, and we just saw both Banshees got sniped by those queens, and now it's just the queens against Hellions. That was a little bit unfortunate there for Seither, losing both of his Banshees for energy. That was rough.
Yeah, it actually did seem a little bit like the Hellions might have been able to take on those queens one by one, but transfuses are very good, and I think the best that Seither could really hope for is for these units to cancel each other out. Which is not at all what you want to be going for when you are going for a Hellion opener.
Yeah, definitely. We do have Seither going for Bioplay, so this Spire isn't anywhere near as deadly as against Hut, the previous game. There will be Marines as anti-air, which do fairly well against Mulis, but the Spire still hasn't been spotted, so there is no static defense at home for Seither. It's a beautiful ring.
It is. I like to imagine holding hands. You're just like...
holding hands before they get burned alive by the Hellions.
Just like that scene in Toy Story.
Oh boy. Ooh, some nice bailing snipes there by Seither, and yeah, Seither going for multi-pronged attacks right now, flying into the main base as he does have Hellions applying pressure, or at least denying creep at the third base as well. And again, this isn't something he's as known for as Hut, but he's still pretty damn good at it.
Indeed it is. I was just... I gotta tell you, like, I was kind of just following that Baneling and thinking, is it gonna hit? Is it gonna hit? That's where my brain was at that moment.
Got it. As it does seem like...
now.
Yes, he does now spot the mutas. He does confirm them, so he should be able to throw down some missile turrets in response. And again, he does have a really large bio army here, so this push actually could deal significant amount of damage, especially since a bunch of the Banelings were sniped earlier. He actually doesn't have any Banelings here. He's morphing them now. Oh god, this is the worst case scenario.
It absolutely is. I mean, Seither could still, position his tanks in a not ideal location there, so there's a little bit of hope there for Demi, but yeah, Seither is just making his way in.
Yeah, all those Banelings that were morphing they were denied, and now there's only a couple left with this army.
Trying to go in first round, but yeah, there's just way too much backup here for Seither. The mutiling count is still going strong, and it is thinning out the Marine count bit by bit. If Demi can pull off a miracle here with his queens, he is trying to snipe the tanks, but here comes the reinforcement of Marines coming down. Will be able to take out the queens and the mutas and the banelings.
It looked like Demi was just about to hold on, but with the reinforcements, there it is.
I was gonna say there is still a little bit of hope there for Demi. We did see how well he could defend against Hut, but now, yeah, the positioning just wasn't there for our Red Zerg player.
Yeah, GG. And it wasn't just the positioning, but we saw he didn't have any banelings at all ready for that push. He started the banelings when he was basically sieging up at the third base. And all of those starting banelings were cancelled because they were too close to the army. So Demi, he just didn't have what he needed, and he invested a little bit too much into those mutalisks where he needed to spend his gas on that ground army, on that Ling Bane, because without it, Bio, just pure Marines can just deal so much damage. Like, mutalisks aren't what you need against that.
Well, it can be. Yeah, but not in that situation where there's the ratio of Marine to tank was a little bit in the favor of the Marines there.
Yeah, it's we see that quite often where when you're up against a Bio-Terran, once all the banelings are gone, if you don't have enough Ling Muta to clean up, then we just see the fight swing so far in the Terran direction. You need to make sure that you land those connections, you land those hits with those banelings, and there just wasn't enough for that to happen for Demi. Yeah, that was actually really well played by Seither.
Did anyone notice how one of the queens jump over the other one's due to Reaper grenade?
I did not.
I found it funny. Thank you for your attention. Attention. That's how it should be pronounced. But speaking of how it should be pronounced, here we are in the top right-hand corner map, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Eternal Empire, L-E-E-E-L-E, Ile, which does, of course, stand for something. In the top right-hand corner map, spawning in the top right-hand corner of the map, we have a red Zerg coming out of that game number 1. Can he turn that around? Representing Downfall Gaming all the way from the Jewel of India, we have Demi.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE, we have the Australian Terran player representing Team Mindfreak. He is Seither.
And once again, going for that that hatch first.
Yeah. I like how confident Demi's being. You know, he's more, I guess, comfortable playing against Seither, I guess you would say. But yeah, I am a little bit concerned for his play. It did kind of seem like Demi, he had like this build, this style that he wanted to go for, and he was kind of lacking in vision. That's like if he had seen that army push out. If he had seen that push out a lot earlier, then he would have been able to prepare and get his defenses that he needed. He would have been able to morph those banelings, but again, he didn't see it until it was too late. And you could also say that that goes to show how good Sheldon is at like denying creep and denying overlords. So yeah, I guess it's a bit of both.
No disagreement coming out from me. I don't know. I think in the case of Demi, it is more of I think he might find it easier to gauge where Seither is at compared to where Hut is at. Seither has been back for quite a while.
Seither.
No read. There we go, Demi.
Just GG, well played. You know, Seither, he had a good showing. You know, he was looking strong. He was able to delay that third base, but he lost that Reaper, and that's about it.
That's really what it comes down to in the end.
That's it.
It does kind of worry me a little bit with Seither. You can see him getting as much as we joke, we can't see him now getting a second Reaper out. You absolutely want that map information, especially from a player like Demi. You never know. When is he going to get his lair? Is he going to get an early Roach? Is he going to just immediately go into is he going for a Bane bus? Information is absolutely key right now.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something that you lose because of that Reaper, to the point where he's actually rebuilding the Reaper, just to try and get that scouting information. To be fair, it doesn't seem like there is much that Demi is doing that's out of the norm, but Seither doesn't know that, right? Which can come into play. Meanwhile, we do have Seither as Kuro is showing us. Oh, but it gets spotted!
That indeed it does. Now, one has to wonder though, like, there is a tech lab being built right now, and that's usually an indication for BCs, but...
I know what you're gonna say.
Range libs, they're pretty... They're not as good as BCs. I just want to see it once or twice.
Just once.
Yeah.
just once. So you want.
I don't even want to see it twice. Just show it to me once.
Just show me once, so then you can clip it and save it, and yeah. So Demi, he does know what he's up against. He did spot the BCs. I was thinking maybe Seither would even cancel the fusion core after he got spotted, but he went for it anyway. We'll see.
I feel like it would be too late at that point to cancel the fusion core. He was going in one direction, and he has to commit to that. I mean, you could go into Hellion Liberator out of this. It's not something that's too it's not something that's going to be too much. Like, you won't have to change up your build too much to switch into that.
Yeah, and we'll see if Seither is able to get any damage done with this BC despite it being scattered, because we have seen that before. We have seen these fusion cores scattered, and BC does damage regardless. You do need to make sure your queens are in position. You need to make sure you have static defense, and that can be difficult depending on how Seither maneuvers his BC.
Yeah, we will. It's also going to be a bit of a question. Will he TP it in immediately, or will he take the slow route? I hear that click. That is what it's going to be, and this does mean that Seither has to be a bit more careful. If you decide to fly your BCs slowly, you can be a little bit more ballsy. You can take a bit more risks in. You can take a few more shots in the hopes of getting more drone damage. But now
the chances are good, and Demi doesn't even lose that main queen. At the same time, Hellions were trying to go into the third base, but the Roaches were in position to push it back. And now we have the BC rotating to the third as well. The queens are still working their way from the main, so maybe some damage can get done. An Overlord goes down, but doesn't look like much else. No, opting to go for the minerals instead, opting to go for the queens as the Hellions dive in.
Opening it up, but the Roaches were once again in position to chase those Hellions away. Very quick reactions coming out from Demi. Nicely done. Seither does manage to keep most of his army alive, but at the end of the day, Demi just doesn't lose much as he transitions to Aspire.
Yeah, I do imagine this will be for Corruptors, not Mutalisks, as they do deal with BCs.
Probably?
Yeah, probably. We are talking about Demi.
Yeah, indeed we are. You know, you should get a lot of Mutalisks.
Yeah, and we'll see as, again, for Seither, this is like a 1-2 punch. There is a second BC on the way. There is Yamato on the way as well. So it is important that he managed to keep most of his units alive so then he can repair up and then go for that second push.
Which is what he's planning to do. He's still keeping up the pressure here. He does have his BC in position. Yamato is coming soon. If I don't see any position here that Seither can continue to mount on this pressure, so he just backs away.
Yeah, I do like that Demi did bring his Spore forward as well, just to help with that anti-air defense. Oh, he's maneuvering it as well. But the Hellions are here on the high ground, and they will be able to rain down on that mineral line. So nicely done there. Demi does preemptively. Yeah, that he does.
And if you take a little bit of a look back, Seither actually, for the first time in a while from when we cast Seither, he's going for mech.
Yeah, we do see 2 armories going down, more factories going down as well. These BCs are getting more and more queen damage, but the Corruptors are here.
But we'll have to blink away, because as you said, the Corruptors are in position now.
That they are, and again, like Demi, he holds, he's able to establish his 4th base, might even get a 5th behind this as well, working on his drones, on his economy, and oh, we do have a pause.
A little bit of
Lagging.
lag spikes coming in here.
Yeah, yeah.
Notice-
Once again, it's not me this time. It was that time I left. As I spiked up to 2K, but I'm
It's not you.
there we go.
Oof.
It could be Australia. I don't know. Yeah.
Probably is.
I don't know.
You and Seither have the same ISP.
Yeah, I don't know where Seither is situated. But if he's in Sydney, then maybe. As he does have 500 ping. We are on the Singaporean server. Just an FYI, as game 1 was on Australia, game 2 is on Singapore. But yeah, hopefully Seither can get his ping underway.
Yeah, that's not a hard rule here in the Open Cup Fueled by Dare, but nice to see that the players are looking out for each other.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these are like good friends. You know, they play plenty of Dota together. So, you know, there's no bad blood there. And
I know Caesar's been playing more Tarkov. That might be a source.
That's true. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure the bad blood comes into play when they fight over Pez. I think that's
probably yeah. The stakes aren't quite as high, so they're a little bit more whatchamacallit.
Oh, the Hellions were looking for an opening, but Demi does push that away. It does look like there are more units looking to try and get into the natural of Demi. There it is, another Hellion force, but does have his Ravagers in position as well. Some nice army movement from both players.
It's all about getting that map control, which is not something you normally think of in a Roach Ravager versus mech, but here comes the run by, and it's not actually getting a lot here. Nice positioning with the Spore Crawler. I think that might have been accidental, but turned out to be quite a blessing there, and did split up the Hellions and make them gave them that much of a harder time.
Yeah.
Drones and that much of an easier time dying.
And now we have Demi pushing out across the map with his Roach Ravager. There are 3 BCs here with this army. They could potentially be biled down, but it does look like Demi is aiming to deny this base.
On the planetary, and there aren't any repairs here. Now Seither is moving back in. And this is not the best position for Demi to fight in. He is within range of that planetary fortress. These BCs are trying to get something done, but the Corruptors do come in from the back.
Ooh. Almost able to kill one, and it looks like with the support of the Corruptors, this CC will fall.
And he does.
Yeah, and I like how immediately there's already a CC flying over. It's like, all right, time to replace it. I'm good.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, he is going for the other location.
But so is Demi.
Oh, yeah, he's looking to deny this. Maybe get a couple of worker kills as well. Oh, he's a little bit of a remove command, but does notice in time.
Yeah, he is starting to lose this Ravager, so we do see these Blue Flame really kicking it into really showing how effective they can be. What I was going to say is we need to keep our eyes on the Corruptors. They're just not here for this fight. And Seither, going to be able to chase Demi away, keeps most of his Cyclones alive. Should be in a decent position if when round 2 happens. But he will need time to rebuild from that. Demi's already ready to go. These Cyclones could get caught off guard.
As we do see Demi applying pressure to the new 4th base once again, and we'll see if he's able to get it to lift up or deny it. As
around army right now, these Cyclones are going to go down. They are the only effective anti-corruptor unit that Seither does have. But it looks like they are going to be able to fight the Ravagers. Good use of lock-on, good use of kiting. And Seither does not even bother with keeping the BCs back at home. He is going for more harassment damage.
Yeah, I actually really like this from Seither. He forced the Corruptors to move up north and respond to these BCs. Otherwise, they would have tried to shoot down that CC instead. Demi was forced to split them off from the army and not have them part of the main engagement.
But it is still going on here down in the south. The Roach Ravager are starting to convene in. This planetary is looking so low. It's not even planetary yet. It is still in the process of being morphed. But once again, Seither, making the best use he can of that lock-on ability, chases the Roach Ravager away.
I'm just worried because Demi, he's still maxed out. He's going to continue to apply pressure here at that 4th base, aiming to deny it completely. And if he does, Seither is going to start starving out. Like he lost his first 4th. This is his 2nd one. If he loses this, like he needs to get his economy up and running to maintain this army. And Demi, he's here again.
He is. There are not quite any SCVs here. There's a handful that can try to repair that planetary. But it's still going to be enough. The ground forces of Demi are so low in the red. Even Biles' own unit put a mistake there. The Corruptors are sharking in, trying to pick off these BCs, but Seither's Cyclones, they're just way too scary for Demi to engage into. Demi can use these Corruptors as a bit of a harassment unit, trying to take out a couple of buildings, apply a bit of pressure on these planetaries, but in the end, not going to be enough.
Yeah, Demi, I don't know if you noticed, but Demi, he's been very careful with these Corruptors. He's been very tentative to commit them to any kind of engagement, which is a little bit surprising to me.
I mean, I don't blame him whatsoever. These are Magfield Cyclones. Now, a lot of them are using their lock-ons on the Ravagers, but in the heat of the moment, in the middle of the fight, as Demi, you need to make those split-second decisions. You can't quite tell which Cyclones have locked on already. Part of that is also because Seither is doing a pretty good job of hiding it with his BCs. Yamatos do go down, the Corruptor count plummeting. And these Ravagers are so bare. Demi was actually quite far ahead in army supply earlier, but Seither, he was just so patient and so careful. Now he's going to be taking the edge.
Yeah, he does end up protecting his bases, and now Seither, he establishes his 4th, he's getting his 5th as well, and we'll see what Demi decides to do, as Hive did finish up behind this. He's throwing down a Bailey Nest of all things, looking to incorporate them into this army, and I imagine as soon as +2 finishes, we should be seeing a Greater Spire pretty soon.
Greater.
Oh,
Actually,
+3!
+3, that's the good. I like it. I actually kind of like it. He knows he needs his Corruptors to be as good as they can be to take out the BCs.
Yeah.
What is troubling is his ground forces are not good. Brute Lords can be the whatchamacallit, the equalizer. But
yeah, exactly. Like
Demi is thinking, I take out the BCs, try to get the Cyclones to focus fire on the Corruptors, hope for the best with the Roach Ravager Ling.
Yeah, I definitely understand his reasoning for it, and especially because the BC count is so high. But I'm not too sure if I have much confidence in this ground army, and that could be why he opted to go for Bailey Nest as well, to try and support this Roach Ravager.
It is definitely, as I do agree with having the Banelings to support there, but we have to go back to the old saying, Banelings, they don't cost that much, but when you make a lot of them, the gas count, it adds up.
And you can see that is what Demi is struggling with right now. He does have a massive mineral count, not quite there with the gas. And we'll see as another base gets denied for Demi.
Yeah, we're getting to the point of the game here where Zerg player, look at that, the rich Vespene gas has already mined out. Most of their core units right now are very gas dependent, whether they're Corruptors, whether they're Ravagers, whether they're Roaches. You cannot have all 4 Roach, Ravager, Corruptor, and Baneling. It's gonna have to be Corruptor, Roach, Baneling, or Corruptor, Roach, Ravager, or something like that.
Yeah, it is something that you could do just if you have the basis for it, and that's something that Demi doesn't quite have just yet. As both armies are maxed out, we are working on a 3-3 on both sides, and I kind of, when it comes to the army composition currently, I kind of want to give the edge to Seither.
Oh, I absolutely would. That's not to say that Demi can't get anything done. The Biles need to be just about perfect, though.
Yeah, and you know, he's
wild card in Demi's army.
Yeah, he does need to find these little wins. He picks off a couple of units here and there. Maybe a couple of run bys to.
These Corruptors have been caught out. These Corruptors have been caught out. A lot of them are going to be taken out or down into the red. These BCs, they have just about nothing to fear for now. Demi now going to be forced to remake more Corruptors, and that's arguably not what he wants. He probably wants more ground forces.
Yeah, and +3 does finish up for Demi, but these Corruptors are so low, and they're all just going to evaporate.
And look at that. Seither is not afraid to fight these Corruptors with his BCs. He is...
even focusing the Spider. The Spire goes down. These are the last Corruptors that are going to be made for Demi until he rebuilds that, and he also loses 15 workers on top of that.
Well, it's not over quite yet. Seither, he's posturing around. He is puffing up his chest a little bit. You know, he's making a big, a massive army that is really scary for Demi to go into. But there is a shot here for Demi if the connections are fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. There is a chance. It is difficult, though, because of this maneuverable mech army, because of these cyclones. Like, it is a little bit easier for Seither to micro, to dodge those biles. But we will see. Speaking along those lines, I would have liked to have seen Infestors actually for Demi to try and fungal and land those biles together. But yeah, just opting to go for a Spire instead instead.
Well, he's trying to cover his bases, right? Trying to the Infestors would be great, but he does need to get that Corruptor count back up. He's actually got the Corruptor count back up. But he needs more, you know, they can be picked off by the Cyclones.
Yeah, he needs to make sure he can rebuild them once they do go down again. Nice run by here for Seither. Now that he has this bank, he can afford to do this, killing more workers as well, hitting multiple bases.
Not quite able to snipe that building, though. It takes 4 Cyclones, but look at that. Demi just running his Banelings into it. Kind of a waste there.
He's not being as efficient as he could be, to say the least, but... Yeah. Is that another mistake? I think so.
Right next to it.
Oh, potentially. I mean, maybe he wants to work. I don't know.
He already has +3 attack.
Yeah. Unless he wants to work on armor and get Greater Spire at the same time, we'll see if that comes into play. But yeah,
I think the time has about come for Demi to switch into that Greater Spire.
Yeah, regardless, some kind of hive tech unit. He's still Ling, Bane, Roach, Corruptor. Like, we'll see. I mean, to be fair, Seither's army isn't in position to stop this. Oh, there are Cyclones here, but does end up losing that CC. Oh, is he gonna lose again? Actually, oh, that was a kill. Okay.
It, in fact, was. So again, as we were saying, little victories here and there. But yeah, we're at the point where little victories aren't quite going to be enough unless you have a bunch of them. Species, man, they are looking threatening, but these Corruptors look even scarier.
Yeah, he was already in position, was able to kill one of the beasties before the teleport went off. So Demi, he's securing his side of the map a lot more. You know, it was a lot more chaotic a couple of minutes ago. So Demi, he is solidifying himself. He is still working on those upgrades. Still no Greater Spire though.
Yeah, which again is kind of weird. He did finish that second Spire.
I'm just worried because once these VCs... Yeah, once these VCs fall, what are the Corruptors going to do?
I mean, they could try to go around, pick off a couple of buildings. The ground army for Demi, it did look like it was going to be standing strong, but once again, Cyclones, way too maneuverable. Lock-on, such a good kiting tool. And now Seither, I think he's given up on BCs. He's switching into forwards.
That's what I mean. Like, there could be so much dead supply here in Corruptors because the BC production has stopped. The Greater Spire has finally started, but it is so late. And the game could end before the Greater Spire comes into play.
It could, but so long as we get the nuke action, that's all I want. Like, he's now getting Cloak, EMP, and nuke for... He doesn't have the Ghost quite yet, I don't think. Yeah, he doesn't have a single Ghost out, but making his way.
Yeah.
Wait, does he even have a barracks?
He does, but he doesn't quite have the supply to make very many Ghosts at the moment. He does need to lose a little bit of that, as he is
teleporting his VC.
Yeah, he is harassing with his lone BC. I mean, it's negligible whether or not he loses it. Like, he's already gotten the value that he wanted out of BCs, even forcing all of these Corruptors to be made. So the ground army isn't as strong as it could be for Demi, looking at the supplies.
Nuke's coming out. Like, the nuke is coming out.
Nuke is coming out. Yeah, the Ghosts are coming out. Looks like Greater Spire should finish up shortly. Demi does need to drop a little bit of supply to make Broodlords. He doesn't have too much left to him as 8 are morphed in. And he's maxed out.
Yeah, I wonder what he's going to give up here. It's he's not quite at the point. He doesn't quite have the bank where he can start sacrificing drones. He doesn't.
Yeah.
His ground army is still really valuable right now. It's, I don't know, maybe just throw away a couple corruptors.
Yeah, we'll see what he decides to do. I mean, he will be losing a couple of workers here, so that's not the worst thing, given the situation, but...
Yeah, but he is just going to be down in terms of workers and not, again, just not quite having that bank saved up where that can really be effective. He still needs to mine, unlike Seither, who is maxed out, does have a massive bank. See a question here in chat. I would like to see Seither throw away a couple of these SEVs, but I guess he's
like at a certain point, like you have so many CCs that you can just drop so many mules. You don't need workers as anywhere near as much. But we'll see how this progresses as we see a massive.
Mjolnirs right there as we were talking.
Yeah.
And the nuke. Right, the nuke is on the corruptors. The nuke is on the corruptors. The nuke is on the corruptors. Demi moving away from the nuke.
Yeah.
Gonna be able to take out that ghost. Nicely done. Is he nuking his own base?
Yeah, I mean, he's hoping to let the Broodlords.
Yeah, he's hoping the Broodlords will move in, but nope.
Yeah. Does get spotted. Meanwhile, we do have Seither pushing into the natural of Demi. Oh my god, he's already sieged up and in position here. The Broodlords are so far away.
That they are. That is... I feel like Seither was almost just biding his time, waiting for this. I guess he just knows how immobile Broodlords are.
Yeah, despite that though, the ground army for Demi was able to clean this up. It looked like Seither himself was a little bit out of position with his Cyclones. They do finally arrive, but will they be able to deal with these Broodlords?
Well, they are using their lock-ons on roaches currently, so there is a little bit of window for Demi to try to get some body blocks with the Broodlings and just back away. I even like this. Seither's getting his expansion on Demi's side of the map.
Yeah, but it does look like it should be going down. Meanwhile, though, Seither is rotating to the left-hand side of the map instead, which could be a little bit... he does force Demi back. Okay, I thought we were going to see Demi try and trade base or a hatchery for a hatchery or for a CC, but instead, Demi is rotating back to try and defend against this.
And the nukes keep on coming, and the nukes keep on coming. It's going to clear creep at the very least.
Yeah, this one should. The Broodlords have to be a little bit careful not to move too far forward.
They're gonna get Broodlords, yep.
Yeah.
I gets a couple of tumors. I like this. He's slowly inching forward.
Yeah, he's leapfrogging nukes.
Oh, 26 drones have gone down. Not sure where that came from.
Yeah, there was a run by up to the top left-hand corner, killing all the workers there for Demi. Meanwhile, more nukes are coming down, just impeding Demi from advancing.
Demi, you need to have the vision, and he does take that out. I got worried there for a second. I'm not gonna lie, Light.
Yeah, he's got plenty of overseers with his air army, but again, these Cyclones are just doing so much. The hatchery is actually pretty low, so if they focus it down, they probably could kill it. But Demi,
instead, which is actually kind of gonna work out for Demi, arguably. He's filling up the bank now, and as we were saying, he needs that supply for Broodlords or even more of a ground army, either or. But yes, Seither is now just looking to push all the way.
We could see them trade. Yeah, that he does, which, I mean, the snipes will be so good against the Broodlords. Oh, that was a kill as well.
Alright, going into a little bit of an awkward base trade here. Demi pushing all the way back, but Seither actually pulls back his army. And one good engagement is all Seither really needs.
Yeah, the players do end up trading one base for one base, as they both lose one. But yeah, they are just rotating around, trying to find an angle in past the halfway point, as that is essentially where we are. The map is split. And, I do like this, though. We are finally seeing some spellcasters on the way for Demi. We have Vipers on the way, which could do wonders. Nice thing run by as well.
It definitely could. The Ling run by is looking real good. That's why I should take out the tank. Disrupt some mining for a little bit. And Seither, his army is not quite able to able to go back and forth between his two freshest mining bases. They are on literal opposite ends of the map.
Yeah, the problem is, like, now Seither, he used to have a quite maneuverable army with those Cyclones. Now he has a lot of Thors, and they are kind of like Queens. They're quite clunky. They do take quite some time to move around.
Oh, is this going to be the engagement that we were looking at? All of the snipes do land on Raptor. Are doing a pretty good job. Parabomb is going to be absolutely vital right now for Demi, but look at the Thor back up behind this. The Biles do manage to land quite a bit, and actually right now with the ground army, it's not looking too good for Seither. The Broodlings are doing a fantastic job of keeping these Thors back. She's going to be taking them little by little.
The beginning of that engagement went so well for Demi. Every single ghost went down. They were too far forward. They were completely exposed, and they all died immediately. And once they went down, the army for Seither was pushed away. Seither, again, he does have a pretty big bank. He can just back off and rebuild his ghost count.
What is Seither building right now? What is this upgrade Seither is getting?
Yeah, it's
He's watching Milk stream.
It's questionable to say the least. He is switching into Widow Mines, which
no. You say it's questionable. Like, you've played 2v2s with Milk, and 3v3.
I have. Yes. So Seither's ally in this game is in danger. Too friendly fire from those Widow Mines is what I've learned from 2v2s.
But you know what? Widow Mines, as we've learned recently, they don't really care much for Blinding Cloud. Oh, we actually get to see the nuke as it launches out.
Dude, the ghost does get sniped in the end. And again, because of the bank that Seither has, even though he did lose that big engagement, he can afford to remax, to back off, and the game does continue.
Rip Yaku curse.
Yeah, was forced to kill a couple of buildings there, as the Thors are chunky boys. They need a little bit more space.
Much like Queens.
Much like Queens. And yeah, again, we have some harassing Thors, you know, trying to do a little bit of a walk by.
That. Yeah, harassing Thors.
Yeah.
Again. Ooh, nice top pickup coming in here from Seither. And we'll draw quite a bit of the links back here. I do like these mines. They have a lot of zoning potential behind them. And even if they don't, they just burrow directly underneath the army of Demi. Seither now just trying to draw the army of Demi towards him. He knows he has the advantage, but only defensively.
And
Demi to go into.
I'm not too sure who to favor here, because Seither's army composition has changed drastically. We do have a lot of Thors, we have a mass amount of Vikings and those Widow Mines, and Ghost sprinkled in as well. So
I think if it's a straight up fight, then I would favor Seither, but if Demi just goes around, nice paradox here. They are dwindling the Viking count, but we do see a nice split off there. The ground army of Seither is not looking too good. The ground army of Demi holding strong, but there is no anti-air. The Vikings are going to be cleaning out the Brute Lords unimpeded, and Demi, he's moving into a planetary.
Yeah, that was an expensive loss for Demi. Demi, look at the supply just drop, and
so straight up fight. What a way to end that series. It might have been a 2-0, but it was a lot closer than that score implies.
Yeah, GG, well played. It all just came down to Demi losing all those Broodlords. He just didn't have the economy to replace them afterwards. That was just an expensive loss there. And yeah, as you were saying, he just didn't have the anti-air. He didn't have either the Hydras or the Corruptors to deal with that many Vikings. Wow. I actually don't think the Widow Mines came into play at all in that. It was just the Vikings just reigned supreme.
They immediately died. On each other thanks to the links.
Yeah. But GG, well played. Seither advances to face his opponents in the semis.
Ooh, and I know who it is. I'm gonna spoil you a bit light. Justice Simon takes out Azure 2-1. Wow, indeed. Meanwhile, we also have the other update for the other semifinals. Mighty Kiwi takes out Pez 2-1. I would actually say that those are a little bit of upsets. They are, if I was just looking at the bracket earlier today, or if I was just looking at those matches, I would think, yeah, they're pretty good, but, you know, Azure and Pez, I would favor them over Mighty Kiwi and Justice Simon. Not the case here. Not the case at all here.